Hi, my name's Neil and this is Tammy and we're your college credit coaches.
In our first video, we introduced you to our family and talked a little bit about how we're helping our kids earn college credits at a young age, usually between the ages of about 11 to 16.
And then in our second video, we gave a brief introduction to the two testing programs, the CLEP and DSST testing programs, that we've used to help our kids get these credits early.
In fact, just yesterday, my 6th grader, Jonathan, took his second astronomy DSST test and earned 3 more college credits. So he's a 6th grader with 6 college credits.
Yeah, and that's exciting for us. It's exciting for him, quite honestly.
Yep.
So for this video, we had planned on going on and detailing a little bit more about the CLEP and DSST programs and how we got these credits and just kind of what we've done along the journey. But then we stopped and we kind of thought a little bit about how the whole thing up front and even during the process of getting these credits, it can be a little bit intimidating. It can be kind of daunting and it can get exhausting at times as you put forth the effort to get the credits. And so as we thought about it, I thought, you know, it might be good to do a little bit of a motivational video, something that encourages you to get started and then to stay the course as you're trying to get these credits. So.
And I didn't really think this video was necessary, but the more we thought about it,
yeah,
the more we agreed that it would really work.
It really would be good. So essentially, what we want to do at this point is talk about the 6 benefits to getting college credits through the CLEP and DSST programs. And I hope you'll refer back to these as you go through the videos from here on forward. I'm sure there's going to be people who do want to quit, but I hope you'll come back and you'll watch these videos and get motivated. I'm sure oftentimes we'll refer you back to video 3 to encourage you. So let's go ahead and get started with these 6 things.
So the first benefit of these tests is upfront financial savings.
According to Bankrate.com, the cost of college in the U.S. has nearly tripled in the past 4 decades. So 40 years ago, back in the mid-'80s, it was a third as expensive as it is now. And obviously with the increasing inflation rates, we can expect that college education is going to continue to get more and more expensive. That same article, it goes on to state that for the 2022 and 2023 academic school year, the average in-state tuition and fees for a public university in the U.S. is about $10,940 per year. And that doesn't count a lot of the other expenses. That doesn't count room and board, miscellaneous fees, things like books, and other expenses. And so if you add those in, you're looking at about $26,000 per academic school year. And for a 4-year degree, that adds up to about $104,000 that a student can amass in debt if they have no money toward that degree.
Okay, so tell me practically, how could the CLEP and the DSST help with financial savings?
So with upfront financial savings, let's just take a moment to look at one example. I think that's probably the easiest way to do this. Our son Joshua is a student now at a public Minnesota State University, and each credit there at the school that he's going to is $354. Okay, that's tuition and fees. And so for the average 3-credit class, it would cost him $1,062. Okay, now you can get those same 3 credits through a CLEP test or a DSST test, and it would cost you $125. $25 for the proctoring fee, $100 for the actual test fee. And so you could spend $1,062 on campus, or you could spend $125. One of the CLEP tests is actually worth 6 credits, the biology one.
Yep.
And so essentially, that's a $2,124 class in person, or a $125 test to get those same 6 credits. And so looking at Joshua again as an example, he has 51 college credits through these testing programs. That's 17 college classes or college tests that he's taken. So for him, for those 17 tests, we've spent $2,125. That sounds like a big chunk of change, but had he taken those tests or those classes and gotten those credits in person, it would have cost us $18,062.16. And so we've had a massive savings. And on top of that, there are, thankfully, some programs out there, they want people to take these tests. And so there is a CLEP reimbursement program, if you want to call it that, or a voucher system that's willing to reimburse students $1,000 for their first CLEP test. And so for Joshua, we took advantage of that. And so for Joshua, we've spent $1,125 for the tests and the associated fees versus that $18,062.16.
The cutest thing was yesterday, as I was dropping Joshua off at college, I had Jonathan in the back seat, and he said, "Mom," he said, "Joshua's going off to earn college credit, but I'm going to earn college credit by taking my astronomy DSST test." And literally, he did.
Yeah, it's a great system. So that was number 1. Number 2.
So the second benefit of taking these tests is the increased earning potential.
When you think about it, every year beyond age 18 that you're in school is a lost year of earning potential. And so it doesn't mean that a college degree isn't worth it. A college degree is worth a lot. But it does mean that graduating early is financially smart. According to Bankrate.com, the average starting salary for a college graduate with a 4-year degree in 2023 is just under $60,000. And so every year that a student graduates early, they increase their earning potential for that year. For another example, $60,000. So if one student graduates at age 22 and another student graduates at age 18, that's 4 years of extra earning potential. 4 years times $60,000. So if you graduate a year early because of your CLEP and DSST program, you just made an extra $60,000. If you graduate 2 years early, $120,000. 3 years, $180,000. Obviously 4 years, if you can graduate 4 years early through these programs and other programs, you can graduate with 4 years of earning potential. That's $240,000.
Without the debt.
Without the debt. Then on
debt.
top of that, back to our point number one, let's say you saved $104,000 in tuitions and fees and room and board. Essentially, you're almost $350,000 ahead of the average student who's graduating at age 22 with that debt and 4 years of lost earning potential.
Yep.
All right, so our third point.
We feel that a third benefit for taking these tests is it creates academic purpose for our kids.
Yeah, so often when I was in high school, I would ask myself, why am I taking this class? Like, this class isn't anything that I'm interested in. It's not getting me toward my degree or my major. I'm going to take this class. I'm going to put a lot of effort in, and then I'm going to forget all this information, and nobody really cares that I ever took this class other than just getting me my high school diploma. Whereas with the CLEP and DSST program, you know that every class you take is getting you one step closer. It's counting for college credit. So even if you're in elementary school, junior high, high school, it's getting you college credit that does count. It's getting you one step closer to the degree, to that dream job, to that major that you're trying to accomplish.
Yep, and some of the DSST and CLEP tests for my kids have not been of great interest, but I've told them, listen, it'll earn you college credit, just do it. And then there's some CLEP and DSST tests that they've gotten involved in and they've developed and they've found that they really love that topic and that subject. And so it's kind of exciting to see that there is great purpose in it then.
Yeah. There's not only a purpose in getting the college credits, but it also has helped our kids develop an interests or passions or pursuits at a younger age. So often in my line of work is dentistry, and so often I'm talking to high school kids and I'm asking them questions about their future, like you're near graduation. Do you have any interests? Do you have anything that you plan on pursuing after graduation? And a lot of times that comes with just awkward silence or a blank stare, and they haven't really thought about it. Whereas being involved in these testing programs help kids to be forward thinking. It helps them to think about, what do I like? What am I good at? What are my talents? What are my abilities? What are my dreams? Where do I want to go with my education? And so I feel like having our kids taking these testing programs and thinking about their future more has helped them to develop interests, develop passions and pursuits. And so our kids are kind of unusual, largely because of these testing programs, in the sense that they do have some direction for their future at a young age. And obviously we're flexible to them changing their mind. We've changed our minds through our life, but at least gets them started in a direction, and so they can be steered. It's hard to steer a vessel that's not moving, so at least they're moving forward, and then they can still steer and tailor and customize their education and their careers, I guess, as God leads.
Yep. We've seen Joshua develop like a love for biology and for aviation, and so all his DSST and CLEP tests are aimed towards biology and science. Emily loves business. All her DSST and CLEPs are aimed towards business, like financial marketing and management. And then Jonathan, he also loves aviation
and engineering.
So all his CLEPs and DSSTs are more science and math based.
Yeah, and so we'll see how it leads them, but we are thankful for the purpose that these testing programs have developed in our children and their education.
And so then the fourth benefit of these testing programs is it reduces educational redundancy.
Right, so we've talked about the financial savings, but we want to go on forward here and also highlight the time and energy savings. So you're not just saving money, you're also saving time and energy. So when I was in high school, I took U.S. history. And then when I went to college, guess what I took? I took U.S. history. And I didn't get college credit for that high school course. And so I had to go on to college and take the same course and get college credit. When I was in high school, I took anatomy and physiology. And when I went to college, I took anatomy and physiology. And when I was in high school, I took biology.
Right.
And then when I was in college I took biology. And when I was in high school, I took Spanish. And you can kind of get the idea. When I was in college, I took Spanish. And so the bottom line is these are all topics that I don't use. They're topics I don't remember. And for the most part, they're topics that I don't need. I don't need these to do my dental job that I do. And so the bottom line is, if you're going to take a class, why not just take it once and have it done? Whether you're a homeschool student or a public school student. I was a public school student. When I took history in high school, I wish I'd have known about these testing programs. I understood it to a good level. I was a good student. So let's say I got an A in high school history. I could have, with just a little bit of prep, a little study, I could have taken this college test, a CLEP or a DSST, and gotten the college credit and had it done. I'd have saved myself time, energy, money, redundancy. Once was enough.
I encourage our kids to study a subject really well, study it once, take the test, and then be done.
Yeah, one and done.
Yep.
Again, so these college programs, these testing programs, they save money, but beyond that, they save time and energy. The stress of having to take and retake and restudy material, it gets long, and it gets discouraging for students to take and retake courses.
So then the fifth benefit of taking these tests is it really promotes character development.
Yeah, our kids, some people might get the idea that our kids are geniuses, and that really isn't the case. We're not geniuses. That's probably becoming obvious to you. And our kids are not geniuses. And we want them to have fun. We want them to enjoy their childhood. We do push them, but we don't want to drive them. And so I think sometimes people get the misconception that to do these CLEP programs, you got to have genius kids, or to do these testing programs, you got to work them super hard. And I don't think that's true. There is some challenge involved. There's definitely effort involved, but everything worthwhile in life involves effort. If your kids are involved in music or sports, they're going to have to put effort to become accomplished at whatever they're doing. And so we remind ourselves that the challenge is good for them. It develops them, it stretches them, it grows them, it prepares them to face and overcome challenges. And really, life is all about facing and overcoming challenges. And I think this is just another way to do that. It fosters maturity. We've seen that in our kids. And it fosters a healthy sense of accomplishment and confidence. Not pride, but a healthy sense of confidence.
Yep. Even yesterday when Jonathan finished his DSST astronomy test, he came out of the testing office so excited and saying how excited he was and how good it felt to be done with that test and to have accomplished that.
Yeah, I was at Walmart shopping with my two girls, and I got the phone call from Jonathan saying that he had passed the test, and I could just tell he went in there with some anxiety, and he came out feeling a sense of accomplishment, proud. He got into that test and he said, I can do this. He got a few of the questions and he knew the material, and he said, I can do this. And so we appreciate that it's developing character in our kids. And we're not saying that this is the only way to do that, obviously. There's a lot of ways to develop maturity in your kids and character development. There's music, there's sports, there's volunteerism, working a job, doing their chores. But this program is yet another way in an academic venue. This is another way for them to develop maturity and to develop character and become mature adults who can face the challenges of life.
Absolutely.
All right, and so on to our sixth benefit.
To
these testing programs.
So our sixth benefit of these testing programs, it really allows us to personalize and customize our education for our kids.
Yeah, or for your own education if you're choosing to do this yourself. It allows you to study when you want. It allows you to study how you want. There are different learning styles. And it even allows you to study the resources that you want. You can choose the resources. When you're taking a class on campus, not that you're a slave, that's probably not the right word, but you really are the pupil in that class and you're the servant, if you will. And the teacher gets to kind of dictate. They get to say, these are the materials, this is when you'll take your test, this is how my lecture style, and these are the topics I want you to know. And so they can kind of tailor your education, whereas when you're taking tests through the CLEP or DSST program, you get to kind of tailor your own education and personalize it. I think it's a more efficient system. For our son now, who's taking classes at a four-year public school in Minnesota, he has to drive 45 minutes each way. So that's an hour and a half round-trip drive time. There's lectures which sometimes honestly don't benefit him that much. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. He says, I already kind of knew that material, or I read that in the book. And so there's a lot of inefficiency there. And there's, quite honestly, less drama when you're studying at home. I think a lot of people have found that working from home, with the COVID pandemic, a lot of people have shifted. I know I have a brother and a brother-in-law who now work from home, and sometimes there's just less wasted time, and there can be less drama as compared to being in a workplace. I think we'd all like to think that a school environment is going to be a positive educational experience, that they're going to enjoy that. But that's not always the case, unfortunately. One class that unfortunately Joshua took this year was more of a toxic environment, and it led to, I would say, a traumatic experience. It just was not a pleasant place, not just for him, but for the entire lecture group, the entire class. And so there are benefits to being able to customize your education. It can be time and energy efficient. You can study what you want, how you want, and then you can decide when you're ready for a test, when you're ready to, when you've mastered that subject kind of on your own. So
we've given you 6 really great benefits that we've seen
I'm sure
for taking tests.
Yeah, I'm sure there are more than that, but these are just 6 that kind of came to mind for us.
But I really would just encourage you to just try.
Yeah.
Just try one. Don't look at it like I've got to accomplish 51 credits all at one time. If you just start with one class and just try one or a few, but just break it up and individualize it, and it becomes a lot more accomplishable.
Yeah, so is it worth it? I guess that's the question. Is it worth it to do these testing programs? And we'll admit it's probably not for every family, it's not for every student, it's not for every situation. But for our family, it has been a wonderful benefit, it's been a wonderful blessing. We're so glad that we've done it. And again, just give it a try. Start with one class, don't be overwhelmed and think you've got to have an entire curriculum. You don't have to get years worth of college shaved off or even semesters worth. You can even just go get one class. Every class of college credit you get through a CLEP or DSST program, it's money, time, and energy saved, and it has a lot of potential to benefit you, to benefit your kids.
Yep.
And so thanks so much for watching.
That's it.
All right, we'll see you again next time. Like us and subscribe below.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.